Welcome, Michael. Welcome along to Getting to Know More About. Can you tell the people who are going to be watching this a little bit about you and a little bit about where you work?
Thank you for having me, Mark. So I'm Michael Hickey. I'm the search marketing manager at The Hatch. And my day-to-day job involves looking at the websites, making sure they're ranking, doing data analysis, bit of CRO, paid media as well. And as you know, generally working on a lot of the projects, seeing them through to the finish. And I'm here today to talk to you about one of the projects we've been working on, as well as the topic area of NFTs, because that's relevant. Because I know there's a lot of confusion surrounding NFTs and what they are, and whether or not they're here to stay. So
I'm sure they are here to stay, and we'll hear a little bit more about Hatch very, very soon. But from a personal level, how did you get into crypto for the first time, and how are you finding the people around you, both in your personal life and also your professional life? Are they adopting crypto?
My journey into crypto started a very long time ago when I was around 16, 17. It was rather a naughty one. I tried to get a fake ID so I could get into pubs and clubs. So one of the routes I found was through buying Bitcoin and paying Bitcoin, but luckily for me, it turned out to be a scam. So I never got the ID in the end. So I left. I think that was another 5-6 years before I got involved in crypto again, and that's when I started looking at options of investing, being interested in, should I go for a mortgage? Should I invest in a stocks and shares ISA? Do I go for funds? Do I manage a selection of stocks myself? But from the way that the crypto market was performing in the terms of the cycles, there seemed to be a lot more potential for making my money go further invested in the cycle, so long as you play it right. And I really jumped on board heavily once the coronavirus lockdown began, because the markets took a really big plunge then. And that's when my interest in crypto really went full blown, because I saw the potential, and we saw that nearly over a year worth of a bull market. And yeah, so now I'm fully into crypto. I've slowly got my friends and family involved. First, it was friends who, they were interested in tech anyway. They were slowly getting involved in Bitcoin and altcoins, and they all had they've all got the favorite one. And yeah, in the past year or so, it started turning into family and co-workers, as parents have even asked me to show them how to invest in Bitcoin, and they handle it themselves now. So yeah, it's been quite a journey so far.
So your personal investments, are you more for stable coins, or are you trying to hunt out the 100x altcoins?
I'm trying to be careful with diversifying too much into the altcoins, because as you can see in the last few months, as we've hit the peak and gone into a bit of a downtrend, altcoins get hit the most. So I've tried to leave as only about 10% of my allocation in altcoins. I put most of the money into Bitcoin and Ethereum, the big two, when they've had a nice downtrend, and when there's a sign of strength for that, the general trend's going to change. I've got a little bit invested in alts, but not too much. And I've always remembered to take profits, put them into stable coins, and then set them to yields so I can maximize those gains a little bit more.
There's lots of yield opportunities there, isn't there, on lots of platforms and things like that. And in some instances, a lot of people don't know that you can actually do that. So definitely for people watching, do a little bit of research into where you can put your Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other coins on different platforms and get up to like 40-50% APY a year. So there's lots of opportunities out there. Tell us a little bit about more of what you do at Hatch, what kind of services you guys offer, and what kind of clients you we work with, basically.
The Hatch it's a 360 agency. We've had a long-term interest in tech, and in more recent times we've been involved in blockchain, especially since lockdown. Our developers have picked up Web3, learning Web3, developing it, getting the right skills for it. And we're proud to be one of the first agencies in the UK to officially offer end-to-end blockchain projects. But more than that, we're a marketing company, digital marketing. We're designers, so we do print design, graphical design. We can do developing as well, so softwares, websites, apps as well. In terms of the latest projects, we've one of the most recent ones is a blockchain project called VooVoo. which we are the development partner of. So we develop the platform internally, and VooVoo is an NFT marketplace that auctions high-end art. The latest release being the Ep06 artwork by Banksy. So I don't know if you've seen that in the news. There was a landlord that took the entire wall off the side of a house, and people hadn't wanted to know where that ended up, and it ended up being as part of the VooVoo project, where they've split up the artwork into 5,000 bricks, and they'll be auctioned off digitally via the VooVoo platform. So it gives opportunity for anyone to own a piece of the Banksy artwork while the artwork remains in a gallery for public to view.
It's a great idea, and it gives people the opportunity to have a little piece of something, especially if it's a Banksy. It's one of the things I personally think will hold its value, if not go up. For people who don't really know, and for people who are getting into this space for the first time, what is an NFT?
Even the official definition of an NFT wouldn't make much sense to anyone who's never heard of them before. So an NFT is a non-fungible token. So the best way to put that is it's a digital. It can be a digital asset that's tied to the real world. So it can be a photo, it can be a music file, it can be a video, and the way that it becomes a non-fungible token is by minting it on the blockchain. So essentially, the ownership and the confirmation of authenticity is proven by its information stored on the blockchain, usually in terms of a smart contract. What that means is, if you were to purchase, say Banksy made a digital piece of art and he wanted to sell it, it would be sold and minted on a blockchain like Ethereum or Solana, and people who purchase it, the person who purchased it, all of that, the information of purchase and ownership will be stored there on the blockchain for anyone to see. Now, the most popular use of NFTs at the moment is kind of like the art craze. So it's really popular on social media that people are buying avatars like CryptoPunks and Bored Apes. But there's a lot more use cases for NFTs in the future, especially ones outside the art world. So I believe that in the future, we can see stuff like medical records can be added to the blockchain. So imagine you're anywhere in the world, it doesn't matter what medical digital system they're on, they can pull your medical record right there. If you're on holiday, if you're in a different country, and they can get the information, the doctors can get the information they need to see right away, rather than trying to contact the NHS and trying to get the information that way. It can also be used for deeds, so it can completely automate and digitize the house purchasing and selling process, making it a lot quicker, probably making it more easy to understand the process as well, and all the hoops you got to jump through.
Are there any criticisms then, in your opinion, for NFTs, and are they here to stay? Because we get lots of technology, and we get technology and technology companies trying to push new products. For example, 3D TVs are kind of pushed on us every 4 or 5 years, and they're here, then they flop. Is that going to be the same with NFTs? Are they going to be here to stay, or are they just going to be around for a couple of years and then they're going to be like just drifting into the distance? What do you think?
I think a lot of NFT projects are here to stay, but a lot of them equally are here to. Well, I don't think they'll be here in a few years, especially because the space is so new. It's in its infancy. It's very much a Wild West kind of frontier vibe to a lot of these projects and the communities as well. So it's kind of like the early days of the .com bubble, I'd say. I think a lot of criticisms aimed at it at the moment is that it's hard to understand the community. It's hard to understand why you would want to own one, especially if you've not come and grown up in the digital world. So that older generations just see no value in why you would own a JPEG or an MP4 file. As well, there seems to be the NFTs that seem to grab all the headlines. And a lot of people would deem it's not good art. It's not great art, and it seems to be more of a cash grab. So Bored Apes, CryptoPunks, they seem to be very easy. It's very easy for the creators to churn out lots of them with very little difference and very little effort to try and gain as much individual NFTs to sell as part of a collection. So the criticisms are valid. Another criticism you could say is the bad players of the space, so the influencers, the projects that are there just to rug pull early investors. I think the latest news story is an OpenSea. Some people have had their NFTs stolen and there's a lot of controversy. You try and figure out what was it, because there's a flaw in the security of OpenSea's network, or was it because the people who lost the art themselves accidentally clicked on something sent to them via an email, or they clicked on a phishing link that then gave them access. There are some criticisms definitely that are valid, but there's a lot of pros to weigh up as well.
I saw this just this morning that the first lawsuit is going to be taken out against OpenSea for that. Who's somebody who got their NFT stolen. So we will see what happens with that. Yeah, so it's very interesting, especially if you've invested tens of thousands of dollars and all of a sudden it's gone. So NFTs, it's a great acronym, and there's also another kind of word floating around, Web3. What is Web3, and how does that link to NFTs, and how does it link to the wider internet, and how does it compare to what we've got and what we've had already?
A good way of explaining Web3 is by starting at Web 1. And progressing through Web 1, 2, and 3. So Web 1 was the very early days of the internet, where it was very much static. It was hard to navigate or know how to access the information you're searching for. There was very little in the way of competent search engines. Users had little to no interactions with the websites they were on. So it's very much pre-mobile, pre-social revolution, and there wasn't that much variety to how a website could look and display its information either. Then you've got Web 2.0, which is what we'll all be used to. So Web 2 was the rise of the smartphone and the rise of social media and the corporations that have kind of pushed us down this road of creating social media sites where the users interact with one another. So it's sharing one another's posts, liking, interacting, and it's where the user has become the creator of content as well. So it was features like JavaScript, HTML5 that kind of really paved the way for Web 2. And then as we come into Web 3, which is where you could argue that we've got half a foot into Web 3 already. So Web 3 is like the semantic web. Web 3 is looking to utilize decentralization, all in the hopes of becoming more autonomous, intelligent, and open. And NFTs are definitely an example of Web 3.0. They're a digital asset. They can be tied into real world stuff. And really, their value will come from the adoption of Web 3.0. So as more people get involved and own their own little flat in the metaverse, or own their own piece of land, they'll then see the value in decorating that land with their NFTs. So yes, very exciting time to be involved in online.
Very interesting stuff. I just hope people don't think the metaverse is Facebook and vice versa, because I think that's one of the preconceptions, that the metaverse is meta, but there obviously are more metaverses out there and more like digital land and things like that. If anybody wants to find out more about what you do and what The Hatch does, where should they go?
So we've got a website, thehatch.co.uk. We've also got Facebook, LinkedIn. So you can contact us on there. So whether you're looking for a website, or if you're looking to work together on a blockchain project, or even if it's just a print campaign, we're here ready to have a chat and see if we can work together and do some exciting things.
And if anybody wants to follow you, are you on LinkedIn or Twitter?
I'm on LinkedIn, so I'm Michael Hickey. That's where you can find me.
People might be able to find you in the future in the metaverse. So
yeah, find me in the metaverse.
Say goodbye to just traditional social media, and let's all meet in the metaverse.
I'm all ready for it. I'm already packed up.
So it's really great speaking to you today. I'm sure the people will be visiting the Hatch website, and we will see you on LinkedIn, and we'll see you in the metaverse. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Mark.